What's going on, guys? I'm Elaton the Scent God, and this is Simply Put Scents. And on this channel, we talk about some of the best and worst fragrances on the market today. My goal, as always, is to help you smell your best, but never ordinary. And I'm so grateful and proud to have an amazing guest with me today. And this is Maxime, the Educational Director and Events Director of Guerlain North America. North America, am I correct?
Absolutely.
Amazing, amazing. Guys, the perfect person to discuss Guerlain fragrances is with me today. And if you have any questions, definitely share them with us and we'll answer them if we can. But I have Maxime here for a brief moment to go over the new fragrance that Guerlain has launched, along with a new, I guess you could say we're going to share a new fragrance that was only available, I guess, in the Middle East for a while. And now it's going to be in the United States now. Excellent. And yeah, we're going to get into everything Guerlain, and I'm so excited because, as you all know, Guerlain is one of my favorite brands ever. It's one of the best brands, if not the best brand on the planet. And there's so many different options on so many different levels that anyone can appreciate. There's literally something for everyone. So without further ado, Maxime, welcome.
Thank you so much.
It's
Thank
such
you
a
for
pleasure. Absolutely.
It's my pleasure to get to talk about perfume with you in such a way.
You're so kind. Thank you so much. So I am really excited to learn about the new fragrance and share with my audience the new scent that Guerlain has released. I am so excited to get into this.
Absolutely. So we have, of course, a new perfume in L'Art et la Matière collection. It's Patchouli Paris. But you know, before we speak about the new one, I think it's really important to speak about Guerlain and what it is Guerlain. You know?
Absolutely.
Guerlain, truly, it is the most iconic French luxury house. Guerlain has been crafting beauty from nature for almost 200 years.
Absolutely.
At Guerlain, it's a celebration of French know-how and French craftsmanship, and really of the most beautiful natural raw materials. And this is really what you have in that collection, in L'Art et la Matière. L'Art et la Matière is our exclusive collection where all of the juices, they're handcrafted by the nose, by the perfumers themselves. You know, we have a master perfumer, Thierry Vasseur,
Absolutely.
whom you met,
Absolutely.
and Delphine Gelk, whom you also had the chance to
Absolutely.
meet here in Bergdorf Gourmet when she was here. Patchouli Paris really belongs in this collection. If Guerlain, it's the quintessential French perfumer,
Yes.
Patchouli Paris, it's Paris in a bottle.
Huh.
When you smell this, you really have this impression of a glass of champagne at Moulin Rouge. This is what that is, truly.
Whoa,
You know?
that's how you talk that talk, guys.
Absolutely. Because patchouli, it's the smell of Paris in the 1920s.
Yes.
And in the 1920s, Paris is blossoming and blooming with artists and all of the writers and philosophers and poets. And it's really a world where everything is allowed, you know? So there was that idea of freedom and the joie de vivre.
Absolutely.
The joy of living, you know? So Patchouli and Paris intimately linked together in that way, in that sense. You know, you think about the bars and the red velvet curtain and something that's really private, intimate, secret nightlife. And what gives me the champagne in this fragrance is just the effervescence when you open it. You know, when you have it first, it's like when you open champagne.
Right.
When you pop the champagne, you smell first all of the bubbles, it comes to your nose, you know you're gonna have a good time. And here it's translated into this aldehyde. You know, you have this beautiful aldehyde that allows to open the juice. The whole collection of L'Art et la Matière, they're built in this way.
Okay.
You're going to have an overdose of heavier raw materials. Here the patchouli,
Right.
the vanilla, but always to have a stirring contrast.
Right.
Or something to open the fragrance.
So that's what I was so amazed by, the aldehyde component of Paris Patchouli, or Patchouli Paris. I'm blown away by that. The fact that it has like a freshness, a sparkling quality, an effervescence for a scent that's usually associated with dark, earthy, chocolate, booziness. Like there is so many elements and I guess you could say nuances to a patchouli. And I find it very interesting and very complex and also different from other patchouli fragrances. A lot of people feel like if you smelled one patchouli, you smell them all. I definitely feel like this is not a an expected patchouli experience.
Absolutely. It's totally unexpected, you know, and to your point, a lot of people say, oh, patchouli, the
Right.
60s, the 70s, it's musty, it's earthy.
Yes.
But here, so the aldehyde, it's here to cut through. You know, your French is ballerina. It's standing tall. There's something dynamic. So you're going to put an ingredient like aldehyde
Yes.
to allow for this to be fusing, to be sparkling, to have that radiance. And this will indeed open up the juice, actually.
Right.
So on your skin, it's going to dance very differently. But still, you have that quality that's bringing you in. It's very welcoming because it's patchouli and vanilla, so there's
Absolutely.
this generosity about it,
Yes.
but it's fusing and joyful at the same time.
I also find it a very sexy scent. Like, to me, I can imagine men and women equally wearing it. I will say, though, I do find that a couple of the new releases in the Matière collection have been have filled gaps that we have not seen before in that collection. So I don't know if there was ever a patchouli forward scent previously. I know from the line, from
In the
that particular
collection, in L'Art et la Matière, there was not something that was particularly forward with patchouli.
Right.
And that's the space that this one comes and fill.
The other scent from with patchouli, the L'Instant de Guerlain, they call it. I forgot how we used to call it in the fragrance community, but it was discontinued and I think repackaged. The L'Instant de Guerlain for men, though. That was a very, very patchouli heavy scent and a very elegant French patchouli as well, but totally different than this.
L'Instant had some patchouli, but it was cacao.
Ah, yes.
A
Okay.
lot of chocolate, you know, so like you described before,
Yes.
boozy, chocolatey, something warmer associated with that patchouli. So that was l'instant. We still have l'eau de parfum. We don't
Yes.
have anymore l'extrême.
Yes,
you
I
know?
remember.
But
That's what I
l'instant is
loved.
a beautiful one.
Excellent fragrance.
And there is patchouli in a lot of our perfumes because patchouli in reality is always, patchouli it's aromatic. It's not wood, it's an aromatic note and it's here to bring clarity and to support other ingredients. Rose Barbare has patchouli.
Yes.
You know, but maybe you don't feel the patchouli, but it's there to create that quality, to create the
Depth.
stillness, the depth.
Yeah.
So there's this intensity with patchouli. But in the L'Art et la Matière collection, now we decided, or we, Delphine Yelk, decided to put forward this patchouli in the most beautiful quality and in this way that truly celebrates the real ingredient of patchouli, which is leafy, which has a green facet. It's not a wood, again, it's something that's really like a plant,
Right.
so that it's gonna have that quality that is almost feeling aromatic. But then you bathe it in the vanilla tincture, which is so very Guerlain. We put vanilla in everything.
Literally. Oh man, and I definitely smell it, but it's not overly sweet. Like the vanilla in this perfume doesn't overtake the rest of the composition, which sometimes vanilla can do. It almost adds like a background noise to add more depth to
It's
the
a
fragrance.
fullness.
Yes.
It's a fullness, it's a roundness. And the vanilla at Guerlain will never be sweet. It's not cupcake.
Right.
It's a real vanilla tincture, really with this focus, it's traditional method. At Guerlain, when you get anything from Guerlain, it really is a celebration of the traditional method of extraction in parfumerie.
Wow.
Many brands, they have different philosophies. Some brands are about the new chemistry, green chemistry, discovering new ways of extracting, and this is wonderful. But for us, it's about traditional method.
Wow.
So that's why we have the seal of living heritage. Guerlain, it's the only perfumer with the approbation seal from the French government that says it's living heritage. It means we make the things the same way as in the 1800s. So that's why when you have a Guerlain perfume, you have that real French perfume signature to it,
Right.
because it is the original method. So when you take that vanilla, it's a vanilla tincture,
Right.
then it will bring you in with more spicy and maybe woodsy and really delivers all of the facets and definitely not cupcake, not just sweet.
Right. Definitely not your Victoria's Secret gourmand, guys, at all. I am also very excited about the I guess you could say the reintroduction of. How would you describe this collection? I forgot the actual
one?
official name. Yes.
So the Absolu Allegoria.
Ah.
So the Absolu Allegoria. So this is the collection of the Absolu, more like Middle Eastern inspired
Yes.
scents. that we had Santal Royal, that's the bestseller from the collection. So they were all already existing. But now we have a new fragrance to introduce in the range, Rosa Amira.
Was it referred to as an Allegoria collection previously?
No.
So I love how things are becoming more consolidated, easier to understand and make sense of, and also keep track of. Because there was the Allegoria collection, everyone, is growing a lot lately. It started off with the original Freshies, and now they're the Forte, the Forte.
That Eau de Parfum.
The Forte Eau de Parfum is now available, which there are about six or were there about six?
Now
new?
we have 26. So, you know, Aqua Allegoria, it was the first collection, let's say, of fresh,
yes.
you know, fresh trip to the garden, you know, a celebration of one raw material, something that's more sparkling, joyful, youthful, very easy. And we say that Aqua Allegoria is a walk into the most beautiful gardens of the world.
Wow.
And you know that Guerlain, so we have all of our own gardens. So at Guerlain, it's idea of farm to table. So we grow the ingredients naturally, organically. It is hand harvested ingredients. Then we do that traditional method of distillation in-house, and then we package the fragrance. So all of the Aqua Allegoria collection, we can say they're about 95% natural.
Wow.
You know, so really celebration of nature. So we have Mandarin Basil, which is
My
like the
favorite.
bestseller, and
favorite.
a lot of juicy, fresh scents. Now, in a couple of last few years, with the introduction of Forte, so now we have Eau de Parfum, so it's the garden in a different moment of the day.
Yes.
So still very natural, but a bit warmer. Now you're infusing a bit more in the base of these fragrances. And the reason why we brought these collection into the Aqua Allegoria, it's because the story is the same. They're very natural composition. Everything at Guerlain, it's really natural.
Right.
And here we can say, look, it's like the garden at night. You know, it's a deeper, darker, woodier garden that we can look at, you know?
I have to tell you, I love this collection. I find it, I don't know if maybe I'm a fan of the Middle Eastern aesthetic when it comes to fragrance, but of course I love the execution. I love the French execution of that style, and I think it's so beautiful. I just want to share with you all, these are how they currently look. This collection used to be in not bottles that were not translucent, not see-through, and they are now reinvented. What is this? How do you describe this motif on the top of the bottles?
So it's the honeycomb.
The honeycomb.
So the honeycomb motif, and you have the bee on top of the bottle.
Insane.
Just like the way that we have the bee on the L'Art et la Matière bottle, you know?
I love it.
Because the bee, it's a symbol of Guerlain, but it's first and foremost a symbol of France. It's a symbol of Napoleon III. You know? So Napoleon III had chosen the bee as one of his symbols because, you know, France was a republic.
Yes.
And then Napoleon III asked the people to vote. Do you want me to be emperor?
Wow.
Napoleon. And they
That's
vote
fascinating.
yes, you know? And what he thought
Wow.
is like, you know, in the beehive, it's if the queen dies, the other bee gonna feed royal jelly to a baby, and that baby is gonna be chosen to become the queen.
Wow.
So they vote, they choose their queen. So he felt the French people chose me. So it's like my beehive. The bee is a symbol at Guerlain since 1853 because Guerlain offered for Napoleon and his wife for the wedding day the famous Haute Cologne Impériale. You know, so the bee is just a symbol for us that has been a part of our heritage since then. And when you look at the bottle of L'Art et la Matière, this was the bottle made for Napoleon III.
Wow.
In 1870 by Pochet du Courval, so a French glassmaker, and we reimagined that mold for the new collection.
That's amazing.
And originally in 1870, in that bottle was l'eau hégémonienne. This means the water of the ruler,
Yes.
you know, the water of the emperor. So there's always a story with Guerlain.
A lot of very compelling stories, I have to say. And the new rose, I am really, really blown away by it. Earthy, dark, sexy. Is the rose in this fragrance Turkish?
It's a Damascena variety, so Turkish rose, absolutely. You know, I love what you said to describe this collection. So we love this Middle Eastern expression in fragrance, but you like the French interpretation of that, bringing something that feels more rounder. Maybe it's a more blended, more balanced, where the heart is going to be more transparent,
Wow.
let's say. So you're gonna have something that still gives you an amazing aura, a larger presence, an incredible sillage, great longevity, but it has an exquisite balance. And here it's Rose Amira. So you have a really great nose, the Turkish rose or Damascena variety. So it's not just a little pink rose,
Right.
like, you know, that's going to be the first bouquet of flower. Here it's a rose that has a thorn, it's a rose that has a deeper facet, darker facets.
Absolutely.
And in this blend, then it really takes you into all of that base of woodier, leathery, something that definitely sits stronger on the skin, let's say.
Wow. How do you I'm curious, how is the decision made for a scent like this to not become in this collection as opposed to that one? Is there like I know that's probably difficult to answer, but I'm so curious.
This would be a great question for our perfumers.
I got you.
You know, they have the secret. They are the one that they're crafting the fragrances. What I can say is that, you know, I have the privilege to work with them for 18 years.
Wow.
You know, so I know Thierry very well. I know Delphine very well.
Wow.
The way that they make recipes or formulas, it's not that something is going to be, oh, that is this quality and this is this quality. Everything is quality.
Very much
at
so.
Guerlain. It's really their inspiration and what is the imagination or the universe that they have in mind when they're crafting a fragrance. Something that will be a part of l'art et la matière. It will be inspired with art, and it will be something that has this stirring contrast where you will live in a position where you're not usually expecting. Like, for example, Neroli Outre Noir.
Right.
So you have like the darkness of the tea, but then something bright like Neroli.
Right.
Patchouli Paris, you have patchouli, but then aldehyde, it's sparkling. You have Rose Barbare, so you have that deep chypre base in that fragrance, but a peach open note in the beginning. So there's always going to be this idea of a stirring contrast or unexpected contrast. When you're looking at Absolu Allegoria, then it will be this very sumptuous enveloping. And Absolu Allegoria imagined originally by Thierry, because Santal
Yes.
Royal. And Thierry has that great story where
And I love that scent. I'm sorry.
it's beautiful.
It's
but
amazing.
He was in the Middle East and was asked to create a big wow perfume. You know, something that gives you a lot, that is very generous. And so that was his imagination on that, you know, so.
And I find that a lot of people have the idea that French perfumery isn't loud perfumery. But I do find that a lot of Guerlain's fragrances, especially the newer releases, they're punchier than the previous releases. Is that, I guess you could say, is that like a conscious consideration? Is that kind of because I noticed a lot more people, especially Gen Z, I should say, they're into fragrances that leave a trail, that make an impression. Is this, would you say, Delphine's?
So that would be a good question,
great question
for Delphine and for Thierry. But what I may say though is like, you know, our perfume, they're not loud.
No.
Because loud is not elegant.
Absolutely.
And the Guerlain, it's chic, it's elegant, it's quality. You will have a great trail, you'll have that sillage, you will leave a trace of yourself in the memory of others. You will have that signature, but it will be you, it will be your skin. We're never going to give you something that is so forward that you walk in that room and everybody realizes you're there.
Yes.
Because this is loud, and loudness is not elegance, you know. And I feel like at Guerlain we're really a house that embodies French elegance,
100%.
French style. So you have the presence, you have the charisma that you're looking for, but it's not loud, it's not sharp, it's not abrasive.
Very much so. They all smell expensive. Even when they're not, even when they're fairly priced, they smell like they could be double what they cost. But just before we go, guys, we're almost done. I do want to quickly ask, where do you see Guerlain going?
What I see, so you know, I've been with the brand for 18 years. I have lived multiple transformations of this beautiful maison.
Yes.
I see that Guerlain now is getting to this place where more people are realizing the gem that it is, especially here in North America. So I came to New York 3 years ago to really work with our beautiful fragrances and give more awareness around that.
Yes.
And I think that more people are ready now. Fragrances or niche fragrances, people, they're so much better educated now. They know so much better. They have an interest to it. And you know, to discover Guerlain perfume, it's like when you start to drink wine or alcohol, you're gonna make your way up to appreciate something that is really well crafted.
Absolutely.
You know, when you're a kid, maybe you drink a little Kool-Aid cocktail, you drink something light, then maybe you drink rosé or white wine, maybe then eventually reds, and it takes you a while to appreciate the full body, like from the south of France, red wine that would be so
100%.
tannin. You need to understand it. You need the sommelier to explain what is it you're tasting. You need to let it breathe. You need to have the ceremony around it. I feel that now more people are ready and understand fragrance better so that they can really truly appreciate what Guerlain is. Because truly in your fragrance wardrobe, you have to have a Guerlain.
I agree. I tell my audience all the time and my clients how special Guerlain fragrances are, and it's obvious when I show it to them, and they're like, "Oh my!" So I found just a funny story before we run. An interesting situation. Now in America, a lot of Gen Z young men under 16 years old, they were all about sneakers in this country. Everyone was buying a new sneaker. Everyone wanted a different colorway. All of that was the thing. Now I'm noticing the trend of sneaker collecting is kind of dying down amongst that generation. And I'm seeing so many under 18, under 16-year-old young men coming into Bergdorf Goodman, smelling and experiencing some of the most amazing fragrances in the world. And I had an experience with a couple of gentlemen from Utah who literally came to New York just to go to Bergdorf Goodman and experience other fragrances in the city. And I gave them an experience in the store, and my last stop, which is usually the case, was Guerlain, because I like to save the best for last.
Flattery.
You know, I'm not getting, I do not want a free bottle, guys. This is not me trying to grease palms. This is just me telling the truth. This is truly how I feel. I love Guerlain. So anyway, I walked over to them and with them, and I showed them the X-Ray collection. When they smelled the Tonka Serapia, they lost their minds. And I was blown away. I was thinking I'm just sharing with them something that they need to educate their noses about and literally understand. I was saying to them, you must experience the best Tonka scent on the market currently. When they smelled it, they lost their minds. And when I tell you I had 14-year-old men buying a $600 50 ml of Tonka Serapia, and now they're on TikTok. They're very, very big TikTokers. Their number one fragrance of all time is Tonka Serapia. So I had to share that with you. I'll share with you their information if you'd like to reach out, but I found it fascinating, and I love to encourage these young men and women to really immerse themselves in the world of fragrance. I think it's very, very freeing. It helps build your persona. It helps build your confidence. And I just think this is an excellent hobby to get into as opposed to like what they were into previously.
You know, it's really interesting what you're sharing, and I feel it's really thanks to people like you who really take the time to share the passion, the knowledge, and to really be instructing or teaching, you know, sharing with, you know, through social media platform to men where, you know, for a decade or more, a little more than a decade, the space was really, really dominated with beauty, makeup, skincare, which is an incredible thing, and we've seen such a transformation through social media of the consumerism, you know, how do we choose our makeup products and skincare? And I love that you said, like, you know, the fragrance makes the man, you know, it's building 100%. Your personality, your character, it's showing a different facet. And I find that now, as you say, and I'm seeing this, and we are seeing this in stores so much, young, but very knowledgeable, you know, you cannot just say whatever you want, very knowledgeable and really appreciative of high quality ingredients, and looking for like something that will be unique. Gone are the days of the bestseller. Nobody wants that anymore. Nobody wants to smell the same thing as everybody else. Everybody's looking for something truly unique. And that's why a house like Guerlain, when you compare our exclusive collection, it's in about 20 stores in the US. Other exclusive brands will be in 1,000 stores.
100%.
You know, so for us, they're handmade, small batch. You really have that idea of real, unique craftsmanship in these bottles, and I feel that's why now we have a moment.
I think it's like one of the best, if not the best, brand in the world, and literally pedigree beyond pedigree. Gentlemen and ladies, thank you so much for checking this video.
Thank you so much.
Maxime, it was such a pleasure. Thank you for sharing this information with us. Guys, it's a pleasure. I hope you all enjoyed this video. And I'll be coming back, I guess, yeah, I'll be coming back at you next week, you know. I hope you're all well. Thank you so much for joining. And again, this is Simply Put Sense. I'm Alayton, the Sin God, and I'll see you all soon. Have a good one. Take care.